Hi, we apologize. We had technical difficulties. We're talking to our mom about having all these kids because, as you can see, she had like 12 kids, like 26 grandkids, and I don't know how many 36 grandkids, and I don't know how many great grandkids. And then, but she had a lot of other like spiritual kids as well. So we're just talking to her about having children. So, Mom, I was asking, like, initially, did you always want a large family?
No, not really. I just wanted one
Wow.
because because when I grew up, I came from a dysfunctional family, uh,
Okay.
and I wanted and I was the only girl for 12 years, and I
Mm.
didn't have toys and things like that. I made some of my toys, and
Hmm.
so when I had my daughter, I thought I wanted one daughter. As a matter of fact, I didn't tell you this, but Dad and
Uh-oh.
I was really arguing about
Uh,
which child I'm gonna have a girl. He said, "No, it's gonna be a boy." I said, "No, it's a girl. No, it's a boy." At that time, they didn't test you out to see what it was gonna be,
Right,
and
right.
so
okay.
and he
Yeah.
he he cleaned out the whole front drawer, the top drawer, and
Uh-huh.
bought all these boy clothes, green and brown and aqua and yellow and white and blue, and put everything in that top drawer, and plus
That's
two toilet
funny.
seats so that we could train the
What?
different baby, a toilet and a little seat. And I said, no, it's a girl. It's a girl. It's a boy. It's a girl. And so when the boy came, he was so happy, so
Oh,
proud.
wow.
So he
Wow.
stayed up all night long with that baby and looked in the mirror had him in the mirror all night long. He
Oh,
had
Wow.
Jerry hair grease. You know that thick yellow Jerry hair grease?
yeah.
Man, he put
No,
that
I don't
on the
know because
baby's
I
head.
wasn't even
It
What's
born.
was real
Jerry
thick.
Harris? Never
This
heard of.
this thick Murray hair
You said Murray?
Or
yeah,
Murph.
Murray.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
And
I know what you're talking about.
and he
In the
put
orange
it,
can.
he coated the baby's hair with
I know
that.
you're
The
talking
baby
about
had
too.
beautiful, beautiful hair. He
Oh,
put
yes,
Oh,
all
he
that stuff
did.
on his hair was just straight, like some cardboard, real straight. Then he had the baby brush and brushed it all night. I said, "You're gonna damage his brain. Stop it, stop it." Then he spent the rent money and bought a whole case of milk and stuff. I said, "We don't
oh,
need the milk because I'm breastfeeding. Now what are we gonna do for the
it's
rent?"
all right.
No.
She can get
But so he
milk.
was so
He
happy,
didn't know.
so happy. And
He was
every
trying to
month was
provide.
a birthday celebration. Every month was a new outfit or a toy or something.
Every
Wow.
month.
Then
Wow.
11 months later, the
He was
twins came.
spoiled.
So, and guess what he did for y'all? You know what he did
What?
for y'all?
For the
Wow.
twins?
For all of you. You know what he did? I would go to the store and look
Yeah.
at the price tag and say, nope, can't afford no baby clothes, and go home with that baby clothes.
Wow.
And he would say a word. So I go to the hospital with no baby clothes. So he'll come to the hospital with brand new everything. He did that for
What?
all.
Yes.
So he bought
Really?
all your lead, and I never bought a lead. And
Wow.
the colors were color coordinated, and the nurse would take the baby, dress the baby for me, and
Wow.
parade the baby up through the maternity ward and show y'all
Wow.
off.
Mom, how
Yeah.
in the world, where did you raise these kids though? That's a lot. Like you have a whole lot
Okay.
of
Now,
kids.
now, I had one was we're in an apartment. We had two apartment buildings we stayed in,
Okay. Hmm.
and then we moved into the projects
Okay.
until I told somebody we outgrew the projects. No, the projects got too small, and the lady said, "No, y'all got too big
How
for
many
it."
did you have in the projects? How many kids did you have in the projects?
Well, I started off with four,
Okay.
and then I ended up with eight. No, with 10. Yeah, and up with
Okay.
10.
How
And
many
then I moved.
bedrooms? Wow.
We had four bedrooms. And then guess what? We had space we would taking other people to stay with us during the counseling. They
Wow.
would spend the weekend with
Wait,
us.
and plus
And
you raised your two sisters, so they had a
yeah, in
bedroom
the
too.
projects. Yeah,
Yep.
so I raised them because my
So
mother
you had
died when I
actually
was
12 people in the
yeah.
project
So
center.
so yeah, and then my mother stayed a little while until she died, but she was
Oh,
real sick.
Wow.
She
how
got
in the
sick.
world?
Wow.
And you had 3 bedrooms?
It was
4.
four then.
Four
It was
bedrooms.
four then.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Because you
And
know the
so
boys had a 3-tier bunk bed. It was a bunk
Yeah.
that's
bed
right.
in the middle and 2
Triple
on
bunk bed.
Right.
the bottom.
Now, when
I
we were
remember.
in the apartments in the project, this was funny. We had 3 bedrooms, and the back room was the triple decker beds, 1, 2, 3 for the 3 boys, Willie, Daniel,
Right.
Samuel.
Right.
And then the middle bedroom was wall to wall cribs.
What?
So I had like
What?
yeah. So I had like 3 cribs in one room. Yeah, and
Yikes.
that's like 6. Then I had a bassinet, and then when
What
we
were you
moved.
thinking?
Were you always
but
at
you
peace?
know what?
I mean, did you lose your mind? Did you scream out the window or something?
Right. Did you ever, you know how when you have one
Pull your
child,
hair
I
out.
was like, oh Lord.
Let me tell you, you will scream with one child, but with 10 children or 12, you kind of learn to tune it out. And see, I
Oh,
feel
okay,
like
okay.
this.
We're
I
talking
feel
about
like
your
this.
mental state. How was your
That's
mental
why I
Right.
said I can
Oh,
tune. I
Turn us
can
out.
tune
She
it
tuned
out.
us out.
And besides, I'm the oldest of 9 children. Remember.
yeah.
And then at 9 years old, I was taking care of my little brothers and sisters when my mother worked. I
Oh,
was
you had
keeping house at
practice.
9. So when I just learned to tune things out, and then I knew you weren't killing each other. If you fight or something, you weren't gonna kill each other. So I just go in the room and lie down and
Just
tune
let
it
us
out.
fight.
They'll be all
That's
right.
a
Yeah,
shame.
you'll be
Oh
all
man, we
right.
fought
But
every
I know
day.
you didn't hurt
We
each
fought.
other. You was like, who got my socks? Or you
Oh.
wearing my this and stuff like that. So it wasn't like really bad
Oh,
like that.
mercy.
Well,
And you
Tawanda,
still
you were
loved
always
each
trying to
other.
get in my bed.
Say it again.
You were always trying to get in my bed.
Now you know I don't even remember that. See, y'all think I remember everything. I don't remember that.
Remember that? That's why we were fighting. All right, get out of my room.
So
Because
it's
you
a
had
young
your own
lady.
room.
Okay, I remember.
And then when I moved, it was much better when I moved into my own house. And and so we moved there.
How many
So we had
bedrooms did you have there?
6. And then
Oh,
we had one down the family room sometimes would serve as the bedroom. If
Mhm.
somebody got sick, they'd
I
stay in
remember
that
that.
room.
Right.
Somebody was sick in the
I
family
remember that.
room. And we would stay there. Then we go there and wait on them and feed y'all. And then we
Yeah.
did a lot of home remedies too. We weren't in the
Yes.
doctor's office that much either.
Woo.
Only
Mhm.
thing you would go to the clinics. And then one time I would take all y'all to the clinic and confuse the nurses. And y'all would take the clinic chairs and make a church out of it and saying, yes, Jesus, and sing hymns in the clinic. And so, and the nurse would write your information on the cards, like your
Right.
records, and she was confusing you because so many of y'all. She said, Miss Farmer, you just break them up. Just come like 2 times and bring a group because I'm putting the wrong information on the wrong record. And besides, all y'all would run from the doctors and the nieces and the nurses and
All
be
of
running underneath the tape.
No, I
Most of
did.
y'all, yeah. And Sam, you have to almost sell on him to give him a needle. And the
Because
doctors would come.
we were all back to back,
And
like a
Melanie,
year apart and stuff.
and Melanie, when they say bring Melanie, she just run in the waiting room and hide under the table.
I ain't want no
So they
needle.
hardly ever saw her, hands on. They would look to,
I'm
I
still
see
like
she's
that.
doing well.
I
And
felt
how about the time Daddy was a donor? And every time I was expecting a child, he had to give a pint of blood. For every time.
Didn't they come to our
And that
house
was-
to take blood from us?
Yes, they did.
No,
Yes, they
wait
did.
a minute. No, wait, Tawanda. That
You
was
mean
because,
Letitia? Wait, Letitia.
wait,
Yeah, you getting us
Tawanda,
mixed up.
that was because he liked giving blood so much. He gave a pint of blood 11 times. So he became a regular donor. And so since he was a regular donor, he had to test you. The health department had to test all of your blood to make sure there was no germs or diseases in it because your daddy was a donor. And so when those 2 men came, it was
That was
funny.
horrible.
Oh, it
That
was
wasn't
funny.
funny.
So we were in the kitchen, and they would come to give y'all were running. And
Oh, that was horrible. Oh, that was horrible.
take y'all
Ooh, like
samples
drinking
of
my
your
blood.
Y'all were all over the place. Now I know they missed some of y'all, but some of y'all were hiding so seriously. Oh, I'm telling you. So it was great. It was a lot of fun too. Now that you're looking back, with what you were crying about then, you laughed about it now. It was kind of fun. It was the traveling was fun.
Yeah.
And yes, you got a question?
Yes. What was the day in the life for a big family for you? Like, what was
early.
How did the day look?
And I had to get up early in the morning because I didn't want you had to go to school. You were in 8 different schools at one time.
Really?
And I would get up. Yes. And I got my license after I had baby number 11. Then I had my driver's license. And then I was able, one time I visited all the schools. I've spent maybe 6 hours. No, not 6 hours. It was so many schools. I visited 8 schools. I'm thinking one day.
8 schools.
Wow.
Yes. And what happened, what did I say now?
It was a lot of schools, though. It was.
And what happened, because Wendell was in 3 schools, remember? He was in
Peabody, somebody was in Culver, somebody was, a whole bunch of different schools. Yeah.
You were in different schools, but they knew me. I even started volunteering as a volunteer teacher, as a hall monitor.
Really?
Something wrong with you, Mom.
Wait. Whose school was that?
That was that school on Leaf Walk. You remember Leaf Walk?
Was that Sammy school? Because he
remember
always
Leaf
gave
Walk.
somebody at his
What's-
school.
No, Leaf Walk was when your school was going under construction, I think. And then
No, we went to Woodhome. We went to Woodhome. I went to Woodhome when our school was under construction. Remember they bused us to Woodhome?
No, I remember you going to school that was off of was it Leaf Walk? Because
I remember somebody going to Leaf Walk. I do remember that.
Because that's when I volunteered, which was a good thing. And guess what? They let me bring my 2 babies to school as I volunteered.
Wow.
They were walking and all, the 2 little ones. And I did it as a volunteer, and I didn't get paid for it. I just liked doing it. And
That's good.
Wow.
Yes, I did that for a while.
But you didn't answer Tish's question.
Why you didn't answer my question?
What was that?
What was the day in the life of your of Mary Farmer?
Okay. I'm sorry, ladies. Okay. I was got to start early in the morning. We always had breakfast.
Dolly said, "Don't laugh at her."
Who said that?
Dolly said, "Don't laugh at her." Go ahead.
All right. So we had breakfast in the summertime or the springtime. We have easy breakfast like cornflakes, frosted flakes, with milk and maybe a half an orange or half a banana and a glass of juice, something like that. Now, when it got cold, we would have like a bowl of hot rice with raisins and sugar and milk and butter, and then we'll have hot cocoa. I made cocoa,
We had cocoa.
not the instant chocolate, but
That's
the cocoa itself. And then sometimes we will have like what is it? Cream of wheat.
And you know what else we had in the winter?
was good.
Pancakes.
Pancakes
That
was
was
good.
on weekends. We had the pancakes.
Right.
And we had like sausage or bacon and eggs.
But Gloria Gilchrist said, "All in the family, ladies." Mom, remember when it was cold outside, you fixed a big pot of honey and lemon, and we hardly ever got like colds and stuff. Yeah. So you're
Right.
what about lunches? Like how do you
Now lunches now, by
she
that
got an
time,
assembly line.
we got in the car and we would get big items from like Sam's Club, and then I would have like all these bags. I had the bags on the table and put have a sandwich, like peanut butter and jelly or bologna and cheese, like and ham bologna and stuff like that. And then I would put the sandwiches in the bag, write your names on the bag, And then I would put,
Wow, that's
sometimes I made homemade cake. You know those homemade cakes?
oh,
Sometimes
You
you
made
have a
homemade
slice of cake, in your bag, a
Yeah.
bag of chips, and
and you
a
can see through
little
it. It's so
container.
thin, you can see through it.
she had to
Then
get
you
all those
have,
slices.
then you have the little juices and a napkin. And then once I get y'all out to school, and then I would start on the dinner immediately. Right
Okay.
away, I start the
Wow.
dinner.
Woo.
Because by the time y'all
Woo,
came to
didn't you
school,
get tired?
You didn't even have a
but you
life.
see, I took a
We took your
nap
life.
in the
I'm
day
so
too.
sorry.
What you so sorry
I said
for?
we took your life.
That's not your fault.
But you know what? It was like I was having a
Mine
fun
was having
time
a-
because I didn't have fun time when I was a little girl. So actually, I was having fun with
Oh,
my
with
children.
us.
Then
Oh,
I
that's
was young.
fun.
I got married at 17, had
Woo!
Willie at 18,
Woo!
the twins at 19,
Woo! Keep
Renee
on
at
going.
21.
Okay.
Yes. So
Keep on going.
in 16 years, I think was it 16 years, I had 12 children.
No, keep on going. Keep on going with the ages, like with how old you were.
Oh, well, did I write that down?
You think she's gonna
someplace?
remember
I
all of that?
did. I wrote it down. Oh my
You
goodness.
did?
Did you really?
Let me see. What I wrote down. Oh, it's so little. Let me see. I know. Let me see. Being a mother. Let me see. I got married June the 26th, 1960. Had Willie April the 21st, 1961. Had the twins May the 9th, 1962. Had Renee January the 4th, 1964. Now, when I had the twins, Willie was hardly 13 months. And I had Renee, and he was still 2. I had 4 children, and he was still 2 until that April.
Wow.
And then May the 19th was Wendell. That was about maybe like 3, almost 4 years later, with 5 children. And then after that, let me see, I'm trying to think. Wendell, then came Letitia. She was born the 29th. Of November the 29th.
Well,
And she was a big, beautiful baby. Oh my goodness.
wasn't that your big baby?
And she was the first baby, I think, where my husband wasn't with me because he was working. Yeah, he went to work that day, and Aunt Maddie came to the place and took me. And by the time I got there, they could already see her head. She was, I just made in the hospital before she was born. And all y'all were naturally born too.
Wow.
All y'all were naturally born. And the last 5 was born without medicine. And
Without
2
medicine.
were born, and 2 were born without doctors.
Without doctors?
Yeah, I mean, after
yeah.
after
It
you
was
had
3
7 children,
without a
you know how to
doctor.
deliver them yourself.
You can
God.
do it.
Oh, let me tell you, I'm glad Melanie
Get on
said
out
that.
here.
You know what? I'm glad Melanie said that.
Water.
You know what happened?
What happened?
When I was getting ready to have a child, and Farmer said, "Come on, girl." He would get upset. He get nervous. "Come on, girl." I said, "No, I think I stay home and let you deliver this one, honey." He said, "Stop acting crazy, girl. Get out of here."
All you had to do was burp mine. There you go.
Now, Patrick
That's hard.
was
cracking up laughing.
spontaneously delivered. Patrick, I dilated down to 3, and he was born by myself in the room by myself on my side.
What?
I dilated down to 3, and Pat was. And no, I only had stitches with Willie. The rest of y'all had no stitches.
Are you kidding me?
Good
I'm
gracious.
not kidding.
Wow.
Not kidding at all.
Wow.
So then that's some of the first thing. Let me see now. So we had Tawanda was after Tish. Oh, I did good. Tish was born 66 and she was born 68.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
wow.
You-
That's awesome,
my
mine.
goodness.
2 years.
But it wasn't even 2 complete years though. But go ahead.
Yeah.
And then after Tawanda, Pierre's after you. So he
Right.
came along 69.
Yep.
Now and Tawanda was born during the time Robin Kennedy was assassinated. Almost that day or before, I think.
Lord.
And also the
Okay,
same year that
68,
Martin Luther
69.
King was assassinated.
That's right. I
And
remember that.
Renee was born right after, let's see, Kennedy was assassinated. around about November, December. Renee came in January, and that's how I can tell sometime, y'all. And so then we have we say Pierre was December the 9th, 1969. Then after Pierre came Cedric. He was born. Oh, now this was a big space. Oh, and I was beside myself. I didn't know what to do. Cedric was born June the 14th, 1972. 3 years later.
Oh my goodness, what happened?
Wasn't that something?
Daddy was working.
One thing, God, you know what God did with this? You know what happened? That's when I had. No, it was the reason. I had a traumatic time when the 3 kids were hit by a car. You remember? And one of them, and that was real. And when that happened, Pierre was a baby. And I tell you, this was what happened with this. When I had Pierre, Pastor White said, Mary, we've never done anything for you. I want you to stay with us for a month, and we're going to take care of you. And so I moved the family up to the church, and Aunt Maddie was renting. She and Bishop Barge. And Sister Maddie was on the 3rd floor in the front. And I had this big room by myself. And guess what she did, though? Aunt Maddie did all your hair. She cooked all your food. Pastor White fixed me breakfast.
Maddie can do our hair.
And they cooked. They did everything for a purpose. I gained all that weight. And when that happened, after I went home, and a couple of months later, when I had the children had that terrible accident. And God helped me gain all that weight. Because I got married, I was like 97 pounds.
Darlene said she remembers that. She was there when it happened.
Wow. And then what happened with that, I gained this weight, listen, and I didn't have, my clothes didn't fit me, and it was a purpose, because at 97 or 100 pounds, I was already tiny. So when that happened, I was walking to the hospital almost every day. He was in the hospital for 6 months. You were 100 and I had gained up to 120 or 30 some pounds. I was
all that weight. Wow, that's big. Good Lord.
Because Pastor White fed me all that food. She was feeding me so much food. But I had to gain it because when the accident happened, it took my appetite.
Fat story.
And Pastor White put the church on a fast. They were on a fast. And so my husband said to me, well, you're not fasting, you're going to eat. So I had to keep my strength up. So I ate, but I didn't have much of an appetite.
No, that's right.
But at the end, I lost that weight and came back to my regular size. Now, had I gone through that, weighing like 102 pounds like that, I could have gone into bad health. That's true. Because I would have just gotten so little. But God had to gain that weight like that, and so much. And that was a traumatic time. And during that time, that's when I lost my mother too. And they moved that's and my mother died while Daddy was in the hospital. He stayed there, and my mother was there on her birthday in the hospital. She was 50, and got 51 that Monday, and died that Friday. So now that was the accident happened. That was 72. He was born 72, but the accident happened in 73. And also I never forget after that, we had a night service. And it was a strange lady came to church, and they were making an altar call trying to reach her. But guess what? Daniel walked up there on his own and got baptized. Wow. Just before that accident.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. He couldn't walk for those 5-6 months. Couldn't talk. He was blind for a while in a wheelchair. So God bless him.
And all along, you still got to tend to these other kids that you have.
That's so true. Wow.
Yes.
Yes. We didn't understand.
And that's when Maddie came on the scene too. She kept y'all. She wouldn't let no strangers babysit you. If she found that the neighbor was keeping, nope, I'll be right down there. They're not keeping you. They keep them. No, I'm not letting them strangers keep the children. She kept y'all. Let me see now.
Here comes the actor Cedric.
The beautiful
Really?
I'm telling you.
Surprise.
I'm telling you. Now, let me tell you about Melanie.
My beautiful daughter. What year was she?
But Melanie was November. She came along November with
It's 70
25th,
what?
73. That was a year
73.
after Cedric. So then after she came, now the nurse really tried to take Melanie because she
see?
wasn't gonna-
Feel
she
Everybody wanted
her
me.
so bad. She wouldn't put her in the store.
Well, what-
But let me tell you, some of the other girls, they wanted my other kids too. They had money to give me for Tish.
Oh yeah,
They
Tish.
wanted
Somebody
to
buy
take my
Tish.
kids.
Oh,
They
Yeah.
had me. Y'all
Two
can't.
How
people
much?
wanted her.
How much did they
Yeah.
want to pay?
It wasn't that much money. They
Oh,
showed me
yeah,
it was
no.
abundant.
Mm-mm.
I said no. I
That's
wasn't gonna
funny.
sell any of my children, not any of
I
them.
know that's right.
All right,
No,
so
not
after Mel,
any.
that's
No.
72, 73. Come on.
All
what's-
right, so 73 was Melanie, and
Right.
she was the baby girl. Okay, still is. And then after that comes Patrick. Now Marino.
Oh, Marino.
Marino.
was born the 18th. He was born 75, and that wasn't too bad.
Okay, so
That's
he had
2
a
years
break.
later.
Ah, yeah.
Yes, yes. And then after that, here comes Patrick, 1976. He was
Okay.
young, so
And
yeah.
what's
So
Pat's
God
middle
bless.
name?
Maddie gave him that name,
What?
Omega.
Omega. That means no more.
That's the last.
That was the
No
end.
more.
No, no,
Dominic
Maddie
said,
said,
"What about
name him
Marino?"
Omega. Name him
No
that.
more.
And she was getting tired of all these
We
children.
decree and declare no more babies coming out of here. He is Omega. So
That's
do you have any
funny.
regrets? Do you have any regrets?
Yes, the regrets that my upbringing was that we live hand to mouth. And I thought that's how life was
wait a
supposed to be.
minute,
You
Mom,
don't
I'm
save
sorry.
money. So my regrets was that I didn't encourage y'all to save your money. You know, we thought, and I said, really save your money. We had newspaper routes, stuff like that. He said, and it was funny. I hope I'm not out of turn when I said, you always making these people rich. You save your own money. He said, well, Mom, I'm going to a black store, a store with a black price.
Making black folk rich.
Black owned store.
I said, save your money. But
That's
I didn't
funny.
really buckle down to it because I didn't think. And then besides, the way they taught us, you know, don't lay up treasure for yourself on earth.
So that
Don't
was your only
bring God's
regret?
money
That
to
was
this
your
house.
only-
You know, you're supposed to bring your money to the house of the Lord and
Yep.
buy new clothes
right.
and toys and stuff. And so we just thought that we had to do that, you know, just take care of your family and the rest of it in the church. So you feel kind of guilty by saving all this money when the
Mhm.
church need all your money.
So was
But-
that your
but
only
that's not-
regret, Mom?
No,
What
I
was-
wish I had pushed this to the point that all of y'all had higher education,
Mm.
you know. And now one of my regrets is that I should have waited. I shouldn't have got married at 17. But then I'm thinking, if I had waited, I might not would have had all of y'all. And I
No.
want
Yeah, so don't regret that.
This hurt my feelings.
the
Aren't
reason
you glad you
why,
had
Who
all
would
of
be
us?
your producer?
yeah, but I
She would have had
wanted to-
me. She would have had
Oh,
me.
no,
'Cause I
no,
was
no,
further
no.
down.
Where would she have you?
Because I was further down.
Uh-huh,
You
so
know.
she would have had you.
She would
Well,
have
it
had
would have
me
been
though.
me. No,
I wanted to be a teacher, and I
okay.
should have, but college was out of our reach. We had no idea somebody, you know, like us could go to college. That was complete out of my reach. But deep down, I wanted to learn. I wanted to
Yeah.
know more. But I thought
Yeah.
it's out of my reach. And then besides, I wanted to leave home too, because home
Wow.
was so terrible for me. So
Oh,
I was dead to leave home. Yeah, and then I didn't. And when I left, the Lord just put a nice man in my heart. Someone I never
Mhm.
dated. I never went on a date with him, anything like that. So we
Ah.
just got. And they planned my marriage for me.
Ken is
Yeah.
on here. Hey, Ken. He said we look beautiful.
Hi, Ken.
Hi.
Oh, thank you.
Darlene
Yeah.
thought Marino was older than Melanie.
Huh?
She thought Marino was
Oh.
older than Mel.
Oh no!
No,
uh-uh.
And then yes.
How did you feed all these kids?
Oh, wow.
Let me tell you, y'all help me with this. When I go to the market, I would have like $100 for food. By the time we had money, then we could have 100. Because when we first got married, it was $1 an hour. He brought home $36. That was his income a week. And then that was
Right. With 12, still, oh, wow.
it was no. By the time we had 12 children, it was more money. The Lord
okay.
blessed them. You know, the Lord blessed your dad to get fired from a job with 5 babies.
Wow.
That was such a blessing because
Wow.
he dropped out of school. His mom died when he was like 7 or 8. So he was working since he was like a boy, like 17, helping with things. And so then he had stepmothers. And so he didn't have, but he was smart, but not book learned. Because most everything we did, he knew how to make stuff. You know, he could make washes and he could reroute the wash machines and he just made stuff. And he planted gardens.
He knew about nature. He knew about different trees you could eat from, and he knew about nature big time. He knew when it was going to rain.
It looked like I'm not going to
snow.
So did y'all have a garden or something to feed all these kids?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yes, we had a garden. We had fruit trees and we had a garden. Vegetables, tomatoes. And let me tell you what the garden I tried to plant for y'all. Because I didn't know much. No, it was under a tree. First of all, I'm going to grow these tomatoes.
Under the porch. It was under the back porch.
It
was under
the kitchen window.
This one was in the living on the front porch.
Oh, that
tomatoes. And every day I watered my tomatoes. Every day, they were growing so. And your dad came from work. Dog, why are you watering trees? What had happened? I put the little tomato plants in the pot and put them. And I had like these fir trees in the front of the house, and they kept shedding, and dropping the tree stuff, and they grow really fast. And they went in my tomato pots, overpowered tomato pots, and the trees started growing. And I thought I was planting watering tomatoes. And so I said, well, so I forgot about that. So I'm going to plant white potatoes in the back under the tree. I don't want to get in the sun because the sun is too hot. So I grew up underneath the tree and it wasn't coming up. Then I said, oh, they need sunshine. Don't plant them under the tree. And so then he showed me how to do the garden.
It never came up.
No,
when
not
when he tilled the garden, everything came up because we had to pick collard greens and string beans and radishes.
Cucumbers.
I hated picking them collard greens out the garden.
But you know what? It was fresh food.
Yeah.
And so now take that $100 and y'all go in the living room and we sit down and we plan. We have breakfast list, lunch list, dinner list, and toiletries list. And I divide the money up like that. And we picked out, we decide what we're going to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right.
And then we all went to the grocery store together. We walked to the grocery store.
For that.
So I divide the list in half, and I give part of the list to 2 girls, and list to the other 2 girls. And then around 6 children, the boys, will be in the front of the store, putting bags in the bags, preparing for me. And then after I get these 2 carts of food, and then y'all learn to read labels and weigh potatoes and put the onions on the scale.
Yeah.
But what helped y'all up was the animal aisle. We had a cat, remember? And y'all were taking all this time picking up the cat food. The cat was choicy, was more choicy.
Yes,
than
he didn't
y'all
like
were.
certain food. You're so right.
So we have to give the cat
I hated
food
that
to the
cat.
next door neighbor's food.
Because Boosie wouldn't eat liver. Wouldn't eat liver. Something else she wouldn't eat.
He ate chicken, he ate turkey, but some other foods he didn't want to eat. He just sniffed his bowl and just stepped on it and keep going.
He was a bougie, snooty cat.
But you know what? And then when I would go home with the groceries.
Wait a minute, Mom, before you went home, remember we went to the bread aisle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went through the list and made sure we had everything. And then if we got something, we were like, go, children, go in, go back in, get
a sticker bar.
Yeah,
you can get some potato chips. Y'all did so good.
And then we would call the boys. We would call the boys to come to the grocery store because we were almost finished.
Yeah.
And then they would come to the grocery store. Yeah.
But you know the good thing about that, y'all never had a tantrum trying tantrum in the store. You never
And
fought,
that's
you never fussed.
I wonder
Never
why.
had a temper tantrum in the store.
have to.
Because
I
we
think
all,
because we had stuff to do. You know,
We were too
Yeah.
busy.
right.
yeah,
We were working.
it was
So
good
we were
busy. You
helping
liked
out.
it.
You know what I
And you
mean?
know
Like
what?
you
And,
like.
and the thing
Because
about
you made us a part of it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Right.
You didn't just take us and we just walking around like nothing.
yeah,
You
that's
made
what
us
the other
a
little
part of that
kids do,
experience.
looking at stuff. They have a chance to look at some Snickers and stuff. We were working. We had 2 carts. One cart
That's
for me
right.
and the other cart for the other
And-
cart. Like, oh my goodness.
And then we added up the stuff together in that
And
little.
Mom, and you didn't have a
Mhm.
calculator, and you were always right too.
Yeah, she was adding us up in her head.
Yeah,
With
and
her pencil. With a pencil.
yes, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And then when y'all
Yeah.
grew up and grew away and went to music and did all of this, and the clerks at the store said, "Where are your children?" Because they saved them. They didn't have to bag stuff. They did all the work for the clerks. Say, "Where are your children?" I said, "Oh, they're doing this when you grew up." And then when we would cook, we would get the vegetables at the garden, and then we'd let you be a part of our cooking team too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would want to tell that story with the string beans.
Oh, we used to have so much fun. We used to race, what you call it? We used to call it cracking the
Snap.
string beans,
Happening.
snapping the
Snap.
string beans. We used to race because Mom would cut the top and the bottom of the string bean and we
Mhm.
snap. Come on, Mom. We used to race. We had a ball doing that. Oh, I used to love the string beans, but not picking them out the garden.
I didn't mind that. And something else too, when we made cakes and stuff, it might not have been healthy, but then you would say, "Well, I have the bowl." Remember that?
Yeah, we
So
ate
I
Oh,
would-
yeah.
Yep, the bowl and the
But what I
spoon.
ended
Lick
up
the
doing,
bowl.
I would make up homemade
And lick
cakes.
the spoon.
I licked the
Yeah,
bowl
and I would
today.
dirt up a lot of stuff. I would dirt up on purpose so everybody
So we
had
could
something.
have something.
to-
Oh,
Yeah.
you know.
that's
Yeah,
And
sweet.
then if it was a
Lord
big
just said, y'all
bowl,
grew
I
up.
would put a line behind the big bowl, and then y'all would share, you know. And then you say, "Oh, he's on my side eating my stuff on my bowl."
That's
you know,
right.
like-
You put a line. That's right.
Yeah,
You sure
I remember
Yeah.
that.
you
So
sure
how did you do
Wow.
kitchen duties and stuff?
All right,
Oh,
there was
goodness.
another
No.
list. You know, we're a list family.
Another
a family
list.
Yeah,
list.
this.
We had a list for everything.
List
So
for
we had
everything.
a
Mama knows
we
what's
would
best.
carry all off,
Mama
and
knows
we put
best.
the we write the name on a paper and tape it to the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And somebody had the dishes, and then and half of the time when we had dishwasher and you were arguing, I did the dishwasher the last time. I said, "We're not using
They wanna
dishwasher
load
because
the
it's
Isn't
the thing."
that a
So you
shame?
They
stop
want to
using
load it.
But I
And
love
so,
washing dishes with Wendell because he would wash
Yes.
dishes, speaking in tongues and praising the
Love
Lord. And I'd be watching him and stuff.
We be
And
sitting
then-
there just
I
chilling.
ain't have to work.
Wendell say, "Oh, I'll do that. Oh, I'll do that."
Yeah.
Oh, he's like,
and guess what? When y'all wouldn't do your chores, you wouldn't come to me and complain. You went to Window. He said, "Window, he's not." He said, "You know the Lord don't like that." And but you know when y'all really did clean up and I didn't have trouble when we had our conference and our prayer night. You remember y'all would cry and get in the spirit. You
Oh,
get
yeah.
up
Every
off your
Monday.
feet and you just work
Every
without a
Monday,
hitch.
that's right.
I mean, when
Monday,
you got in the spirit, y'all work without me. I didn't have to whip nobody.
Isn't that something?
Y'all just work. But you were in the spirit. You be crying
Right.
and praising God and
Can we
singing
talk about
hymns.
that? Because we have almost 10 minutes. So can we talk about the musical side of it? How did that happen in the family?
Okay, now y'all always had a piano. Not me, but see, Daddy had an upright, and he was like forever trying to learn how to play the piano. And then Pastor White gave me some chords and Bishop
Oh, she
lessons.
gave you some, Pastor White gave you music lessons?
She was our musician at our church.
Okay, minister of music.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Bishop
she
Leslie
was.
too taught her how to play a
And
little
Bishop
bit.
Leslie taught me, and Pastor Azavita gave me some
That's
music.
how you learn
And
how to
that's
play
why
Miss
I
Mary
play
Jack.
like they played. And then, but it was
But wait
good.
a minute, let me interject real quick. And you taught all of us our C chord.
Yeah. C
Ah.
Okay,
chord.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
And
Go ahead.
then we end up singing. And then what happened, I didn't know y'all were musically inclined
Okay.
until the teacher talked to me and said, "You know, your son should go to the school called, what's the name of the school now?
Yeah.
It was called
Upward Bound.
Gifted and
No,
talented.
it was it was something else. It
Gifted
was
and
Gifted and
another.
talented
Yeah,
something.
gifted and talented education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he had to audition for that because I didn't know he could do that. He said he played the xylophone without instructions at school. They
Wow.
started playing songs.
Oh,
And then when we went home, then he asked me to show him. And I gave him the key of C twice. And he went on adding more stuff to it.
Oh,
And
wow.
then y'all started singing. See, my mom was a singer. My mama used to sing.
Oh,
And
okay.
Sister Maddie was a guitarist. She used to play the
Okay.
guitar. And
What
Uncle
up,
James
man?
played
You always
the
want to play the
guitar.
guitar.
Yeah, and she could sing too. She sang alto. But I couldn't get her to join our choir. She said, you ain't gonna mess up my voice, you know. and so what happened when we saw that y'all had this musical ability,
Mhm.
I decided to send him to a music teacher, a retired
Okay.
teacher, for
Mhm.
I think it's like $250. So I didn't have money for that. So I would buy stockings. So I made a sacrifice of stockings. And I learned to make sacrifices. Somebody gave me stockings, didn't even know about it. And then
Now
all of
say
y'all started,
She said
and so
stocking.
and then all of y'all just started singing, and I didn't realize it. And Reno was playing the drums when he was crawling
Wait a minute,
because his
stop the train.
godmother bought him a set of drums. And
Stop
after a
the
while, y'all doing violin. It just kept on like this, and God just started. And that was part of our worship on Monday nights, singing. We get
Stop the
around the
train.
piano. And
I
we
have a
just
question.
sing. Yes.
So when we were younger and we were living on George Street and we used to put on programs for you and Daddy and the rest of the family, y'all didn't think we were talented then?
But you know what I thought? Guess what I thought? I thought it was
a
just
mess.
That was in the spirit.
No, you know it was a mess. No,
What did you think, Mom?
I thought that was the way things were anyway.
Oh.
And I didn't know it.
Okay.
Other people had to tell me
That was the norm.
Yes, I thought it was the norm.
Yeah.
And then when
I can see
my
that.
brother brought his friend who was like inebriated, coming, spilling grape all over the floor, and I didn't turn people, I just fed people. I fed him to dinner, he just dropped stuff in the floor. He said, you know, they're gonna make you rich. He saw when they're playing the drums. Oh, you can get money, they're gonna make you rich like that. And I didn't pay no attention. I didn't pay any attention at all. But God just blessed y'all to do the singing. So finally you started singing in the church and on the radio. Remember that radio broadcast?
Yes,
I
I remember that.
Oh boy, it was overtasking.
It was
But the Lord
something else.
said-
That's all I have to say about
All
that.
right, so what else?
Yes.
Mom,
yes,
before
yes.
we go, Darlene said, yay, George Street. And Sister Boya Gilchrist said, you grew up being busy bees. We were like,
So I have one.
Apostolic Amish people.
What?
Okay, I got one question.
Food. Go ahead.
That's funny.
No, just one question. Could you mention about, you would take a nap when, the kids were in school, whatever. So besides that, did you have any other R&R? Were you just relaxed and,
Oh, now one thing I would do, I would go away once a year on retreats, and Dad would take vacations and keep all of y'all.
Oh man, that was cell block. That's when it was cell block F. We couldn't do no. That's when it was cell block F. We couldn't do nothing. We couldn't go on the porch. We couldn't do nothing. Like, Mom, come back.
I tell you what, I went on vacation. I went down to come to Aunt's house for 2 weeks, and Dad said, no, come back. 1 week is enough. Y'all was so glad to see me. I got home late because I drove. You all threw me a party that night.
Yeah, because we were in jail. We were happy to get out of jail. We were free.
So, Mom, we have 5 minutes left. So, what advice would you give new mothers?
With new mothers, with a husband or just a single parent?
Any mothers.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one thing, what we did before we had any children, which is the ideal thing, you married first, and we came to a decision that we will not show our children partiality. We will not, like, if he say, I'm punished with you, I would not say, oh, why are you doing that? No,
Right.
we would take any disagreement about the children in the room to ourselves. And Daddy was, he was really disciplinarian. I would say, Dad, keeping them in the house for 2 weeks or a whole week, that's too much. But you never knew I said that about,
Right.
so that you wouldn't play one against the other.
That's
Because
good.
Exactly.
before y'all, we would a united front,
Right.
so that you
Exactly.
wouldn't do that. So whatever
What
he
about
said.
when you were talking real quick, when you were talking about, how not putting your children, putting church in front of your children before your children.
Oh, yeah.
And that was one thing I should not have done.
Yeah.
I shouldn't. I always had a question. How is God and the church the same? Is God, and I thought church and God was the same, but it's not the same. See, and later on, Bishop Bell taught us God is first, your family is second, and the church is third. And so if you have something going on at your school or what you have to do, and the church is having a prayer meeting or revival, well, then I'm supposed to go with the children because I'm responsible for y'all. And let me tell you, if anything happened to y'all, you're not hardly going to the church. You have to come to us to help you. And then sometimes we make a mistake. Now the pastor gonna tell me what to do. Well, now it's your mother and your father. And I learned this from Bishop from California, Starworth. He said, this girl could sing. Oh, she can sing. And the mother said, no, she's not. That she misbehaved. She said, I had to listen to her mother. Her mother said, no, she wasn't going to perform in church. And I didn't let her perform.
Wow.
See, and sometimes, they pray, and that's not right. And sometimes we make so many mistakes, and our kids will leave the church and go back, they leave. But see, if we spend quality time with our kids, we would have church children forever. If we do it. But we didn't do it right.
Godly children as well, not just church, but godly.
But when I'm saying
that's
church,
definition of church.
That's my
I know, but we need to make that plain.
Real quick, Brenda, she said you are still amazing, and she said this is her favorite show. I think everybody is our favorite.
Oh, thank you so much.
I did like this show a lot too.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We didn't even get through all of our stuff, man. This
I
was so
know.
good, but it was so good. But I would just thank everybody for tuning in. Mom, do you have anything to say, like to wrap up?
Yeah, I do want to say to single parents, which we have quite a few single parents, I would suggest that you get a godly mentor. You don't have to go through things by yourself. You don't have to suffer by yourself. You have people like myself, or Sister Brenda's mother, different mothers that could, they're more than willing to help you with decisions, even homemade remedies for the children that's sick or if they're problem children. Don't do that by yourself. They're on the street. And what I did when one of my kids didn't want to go wayward, I said, I would take you to somebody else's church who I figured that could help you better. I would drive you there. Don't say, no, you with me. No, you want them to survive. You don't want them to stay with you and they fall in the pit.
That's right.
You go to a godly person that can help you.
Right. That's good.
That loves you.
Okay. Thank you. Darlene said we need a part 2.
Oh, really?
I think we need a part 2.
We haven't even touched the surface. Yeah, we haven't touched the surface of this.
We did not.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Mom, we really, really appreciate you and we love you. Like we would not, I wouldn't want another mother. Right.
Absolutely not.
Not at all. Not at all.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
You did a good job, Mom.
You did
a very good job.
Yeah.
I love you.
On the girls, you did an awesome job with the girls.
That is not very nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So see y'all later. See y'all next week and tune in. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get at least up to 100. I really want 1,000 by the end of this year. But come on. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Chillin with the Girlz.